get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to I Spit on Your Grave. What a title for a movie. I don't know what to expect with this. I don't know anything about it. This is the final movie of our our monthly movie week for this week, for this month. And the final movie that has been chosen for this monthly movie week by Venom. So as a reminder, if you haven't been watching the other ones from this week, due to Venom being like a strong help in me getting my new computer, I have let him choose all the movies for this monthly movie week, and this was the last one. So I don't know anything about this movie. I don't know what to expect at all. I don't know when it came out. I don't know who's in it. I don't know what it's about. The title, though, kind of gives me pause. It kind of gives me some interesting thoughts. Probably nothing great, I would wager, based on a title like that. Now, I do want to say, if you're wondering about the pillow clearly behind me, as of recording this, I am still having issues with my trapezius muscle, which is like upper back, shoulder, neck. And I've been like using this pillow today to try and see if that helps, because the new furniture we got has no upper back support whatsoever. And I was hoping like, oh, maybe with having this pillow up here, that will help with that. It has not been helping as much as I would have thought and hoped. It's not really helping much at all. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm probably gonna be like messing with and massaging my shoulder while we're watching this. So if I'm doing stuff like this or whatnot, just, I apologize. Try to ignore it as best you can. I apologize. It's just, I'm in pretty bad shape. Apparently it takes like, it takes 1 to 3 weeks to heal a torn trapezius if it's just a minor tear, which I feel like it probably is. It's like a minor, maybe moderate tear, but it's like more than likely minor. It's not been like super painful outside of like one specific night where it's been like really bad, but for the most part it's been manageable. And so I'm at the point I'm recording this, it's like just over 1.5 weeks. I'm recording this on a Friday, and the upcoming Sunday will be 2 weeks, so I've still got some possible time to go, and it's just, it's more annoying than anything. Again, outside of that one night I had, it hasn't been like super, super painful. It's just more annoying. It's mostly like a stiffness and a tightness. And it's like, a lot of it's like in my neck back here and my upper shoulder and back. And it's just like, it's just really irritating more than anything. If I was in like real bad pain, like I don't know, I probably wouldn't be recording as much. Um, might have had to move the movie week back a week if that were really the case. But luckily, I'm not in that kind of pain. So, but back to this. Like I said, I don't know what really to think of this, but I Spit on Your Grave. What it makes me think about from a title perspective, automatically, is like being glad someone's dead. It's like kind of the idea of like, oh, if you're spitting on someone's grave, if you're glad they're dead, and you had like some kind of negative relationship or connection or just overall feeling towards them in life, either there was like a mutual or one-sided hatred, or there was something related to like maybe that person did something bad to you or to someone you care about. There could be a lot of things that could cause that, but that's kind of the vibe it's giving me. And that could mean a number of things. That could mean, like, in terms of a film, almost anything. And knowing Venom, knowing you who donated for this, it could mean quite a bit. So I think we should just get into this and see what we have in store. So let's check this out. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I don't know if it's just me becoming, like, desensitized to a lot of this stuff, or if it's more along the lines of I've just seen so much worse by this point that this kind of pales in comparison to other films out there. But this movie, I don't know. It's like, obviously it's disturbing. Obviously it's fucked up. Obviously it's really hard to watch. But it's one of those cases where once it's clear what's going to happen to her, it didn't like, I feel like it didn't disturb me as much as it could. And I think part of that is because I figured out pretty quickly this was going to be a revenge film, especially based on the title and everything. And so figuring out that this was going to be a revenge film and putting that together with what was going to be done to her and what was done to her, I think it kind of like softened the blow a little bit. It made it so that it was easier to well, I mean, it wasn't easy to digest no matter what, but you know what I mean. Easier to handle because I knew that they would get their comeuppance. And funny enough, them getting their comeuppance in some very ironic ways was a great idea. Like her taking them out in like ways that like make sense with what they were saying to her or doing to her and whatnot. And so it's like knowing she was going to get her revenge, knowing they were all going to die. That is what definitely made it work for me. Now, there's almost a part of me that wishes we did find out what happened to Chastity, the sheriff's daughter, because like there's a part of me that's like, oh, she was innocent. I don't think Jennifer would have killed her too, but we never actually get any resolution with that. She never says anything to him, and I understand she's probably not going to say anything to the sheriff because she doesn't want to give him any semblance of like happiness knowing his daughter is okay in the end. But it's like they could have done something to show to us as the viewers
because leaving that open for interpretation, it's like, again, we assume she won't do anything because Chastity is like purely innocent in that, and it's like there'd be no reason to. It wouldn't be revenge for her. It would be going too far. But I kind of wish there was just something, something that just told us anything about it. Um, the depictions of pretty much everything in this were very graphic and like intense, and they should be. I talked in the, I think it was in the reaction, um, about how there are some people out there who think films like this shouldn't get made. They call them like shock value for the sake of shock value. They say things like, oh, it's just senseless violence and senseless revenge porn and shit, and that it's made to shock you rather than to actually like then it's actually about sending a message. And I pretty strongly disagree with that. I understand that this kind of stuff can be hard for some people to watch, and it's like, if it's going to be too much for you, then just don't watch it. But that doesn't mean that films like this don't need to be made. It's one of those cases where sexual assault and rape, even today in 2026, aren't taken seriously enough. They're just not taken as seriously as they should be. And it's a situation where a lot of women aren't believed. And that's why a lot of women will oftentimes not even like, come out with their stories. I mean, why do you think the entire Me Too movement happened? The entire Me Too movement happened because, like, some women had started coming out, and it encouraged others to come out with stories that had happened to them well in the past that they were too afraid to share. Because let's be honest, even in fucking 2026, this world is so sexist that men still have an unconscionable amount of power over women. And oftentimes, if a woman tries to speak out against a man, especially if that man is famous or if he's rich, they're not going to be believed. They're going to be treated as if they're crazy, as if they're just trying to get that man's money, if they're just trying to get attention by, calling out a wealthy, famous person who everybody's going to know. And it's sick. And it's not even just like women, calling out men, because sexual assault can happen to anyone and from anyone. Guys can be sexually assaulted, NBs can be sexually assaulted, and anyone can commit sexual assault. I've been sexually assaulted. And it's horrific. It's something that I will never forget and that will live with me my entire life. And it's something that makes like revenge stories against rapists like this really satisfying for me, because rapists deserve to die. For the most part, with like a lot of criminals and stuff, it's like, for the most part, I don't believe in the death penalty and stuff. I believe like that people should be like given life sentences, and actual life sentences, not what life sentences typically mean. They should actually have to spend the entire rest of their lives in prison until death. But when it comes to rapists, especially pedophile rapists and Nazis, those are people there is no excuse for. There is no forgiving. and they just deserve to die. And there's never going to be anything that changes my mind on that. Because it's like they are the most evil people in the world. Because any other crime can have excuses. Theft, murder, there can be reasons for that. You can kill someone in self-defense. You can steal to feed your family. You can never excuse rape. You can never excuse being a Nazi. There is never an excuse that justifies those in any way, shape, or form. You can never excuse pedophilia. It's just something that it's just like, if you do it, you deserve death. There's no getting around it. You deserve to die. And so seeing movies like this where, especially where specifically the victim gets revenge, it's very satisfying. And I think part of that is because, I never got revenge. I never got to see the people who assaulted me, face any repercussions. Because I didn't speak out when it happened because I was afraid to. Even though, one of the times it happened, I was still identifying as a guy at the time. And it was a guy who assaulted me. It's something that it's just I didn't feel like I would be believed. Because I'd heard stories about people who have been assaulted and not been believed when they try to speak out. And I hid it inside, and it took a long time for me to admit that it happened to me. It really wasn't until the entire thing came out with formerly famous voice actor Vic Mignogna. And his, egregious shit. Once that stuff started coming out is when I finally felt the courage to be able to speak out myself. And it's something I still I encourage everyone to be able to do, but I understand why some can't. And honestly, it's just I feel like if you are being assaulted and you're able to kill someone in self-defense, you should not only not get prosecuted for it in any way, but you should be almost kind of hailed as a hero. Unfortunately, our justice system, especially here in America, is not quite that understandable. There's a lot of times where people who have killed their assaulters still get in trouble, still get sent to prison and sentenced in so many ways, and just, again, aren't even believed when they're sentenced in the first place. So it's unfortunately, this world is still very backwards in terms of a lot of that stuff. So we have to keep fighting. We have to keep fighting for that. But movies like this are important because with the world the way it is, these are movies that help people understand that this shit is still a problem, that this shit still happens. These movies help people realize that, yeah, we need to fucking change shit. That women still get assaulted. That they're not at fault in any way, in any form, no matter how they dress, no matter what they do. They are not at fault for being raped. And that rapists deserve death. These kind of movies are important to teach people this kind of stuff. Because too many people just don't get it. They don't fucking get it still. And so, yeah, it's as hard as it is to watch certain things in this, and as hard as it is, I don't feel like I can turn away from stuff like this, because it's the kind of thing that it needs to be seared into my brain. It needs to be like understood how fucked up this is and made clear that we need to believe and support victims at all times. And yes, if it comes out that a person was lying about being a victim and everything, then you stop your support of them. But that's extremely rare that that happens, for one. And for two, you always support the victim from the start. If something ends up being proven otherwise later, then that's later. But you always support them from the start. This movie, is clearly going to be a movie that there's going to be some people who have spoken out against. I know just with how this movie is, people are going to, again, going with what I was saying before, they're going to say it's too much, it's too graphic. But again, that's the point. It wouldn't get the points across if it weren't. And when they make movies like this, that there's going to be, especially with more modern films, there's going to be counselors and people on set to make sure that everybody's okay. The actors are going to support each other. It's going to be one of those things where they have to really, for everybody's safety and mental health, they have to really take it cautiously in order to make it work. And I think in the end, it's still going to be hard on a lot of these actors being part of this. Both for actors who play as the victims and those who play as the rapists themselves. That can't be mentally and emotionally healthy even for them to have to perform that kind of thing, even if it is all fake. It's still that's still got to be taxing as hell. I can't even begin to imagine. And so it's this is not a movie I could really say is good, because it's not really about that. And honestly, I don't know if I would say, just as a film, I don't know if I would say this movie is that great in terms of how it's made and directed and all that. But in terms of the message it's saying, and on top of that, the revenge gotten, it's definitely a movie that I could root for in terms of what it's trying to say and how it's taking a stand against rapists. And anyone who would try to say, oh, but if someone rapes you and you kill them back, it's it's just two wrongs. Two wrongs don't make a right. It's fuck off. Fuck off to anyone who would say shit like that. It's not even slightly on the same level. It's not even a little bit on the same level. And again, rapists deserve death. And killing a rapist is self-defense and or defense of others. Inherently. So, yeah. I'm not going to stand for the entire two wrongs don't make a right thing here. It's again, there's certain crimes that are just completely unforgivable. There's nothing that can make them right. And even with someone like Matthew in this, who is forced into doing it, it's he could have tried harder to refuse it. He could have tried harder to not go along with it as the others were telling him to. He even with his mental issues and everything, I really feel like he was still responsible. He still did it. And I can't blame her for killing him. I feel a little bad because, again, he was forced into it. but I don't feel bad enough because he was still a rapist in the end. Like, it would be a little different if they were literally holding him at gunpoint the entire time. It would have been a little different in that scenario. And again, as someone with mental illness, it's like that's not an excuse. You are still responsible for anything you do, and it's like you can't, like, yeah, your mental illness can affect a lot about your life. It can affect a lot about you, like how you handle certain situations. Believe me, I don't function super well most of the time. But that's not an excuse for killing someone. It's not an excuse for raping someone. It's like you can't use your mental health, your mental illness, as an excuse for a crime this bad. It's like you're still responsible for your own actions. And if you're gone far enough to where it's like you literally can't be responsible for your own actions, then honestly, like, you should be probably getting help. Now, I know that's probably not a possibility with their situation and everything, but the thing is, it's clear that Matthew had some level of self-awareness and intelligence. He even had like clearly the know-how to be able to like work on plumbing and whatnot. He could, and he knew it was wrong the entire time. He could have refused. He absolutely could have refused to participate. He had enough mental awareness to be able to refuse. And so it's like, again, I can't like disagree with her decision. I just can't. Again, the only thing I wish like had been like more revealed is that the daughter was actually okay. Again, you didn't need to even do much else with it. Just you didn't have to reveal it to the sheriff because I understand that would like take away a certain point, but at least reveal to us the audience. But maybe that's just me. Either way, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this film. Thank you, Venom, I guess, for donating for this and for choosing it as part of this movie week. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.